And you might want to slide over just a little bit because Scott will sit there on the end. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Scott and I will deal with each other here. He can split the table legs. I don't know what that other is there. All right, good morning, everyone. It's 8:32, and I'm Darren Hamilton, Chairman of the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors for at least a few more minutes this morning, and I'm going to call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Mike and Abby and Pat and Chauncey, and we have someone on a phone call with us. All right. Let's look at our first item on our agenda is selection of chairman and vice chairman for the upcoming year. I believe this year it'll be Dee Sandquist is our chairman, and it will be Susie Drish is our vice chairman. So I will nominate Dee as chairman and Susie as vice chairman. May I have a second? Okay, I have a second from Durish. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'll turn the meeting over to you.
Thanks, Darren. Morning, everybody. Is there first thing on our agenda, acknowledge minutes from the last meeting?
I would so move.
And I will second that. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are you abstaining, Ms. Drish? Okay. Oh, okay. Well, all right. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Morning, Scott. How's the road business?
Well, Tuesday through Saturday, most of what the crews accomplished is working on battling the snow and ice. They got the roads, the paved roads anyway, really good by Thursday, and then of course we had the next round. So so we had to order another couple hundred tons of salt and 20 loads of sand. They did some equipment maintenance this week, like fixing up things that would break down or need tweaking or whatever while you're out there using your equipment and in rough situations and conditions. And then they did they were also out blading the gravel roads for quite a bit of that time. Imagine they're out blading gravel roads today. So then the week before, I did some road grading without snow and ice on it, and brush cutting, especially around bridges. Bridges tend to have things grow up around them, and you don't see them until they pop up above the railing. And then you have debris that comes downstream, clogs up. So, so they've done quite a bit of clearing around bridges this fall. I took all of the reports that we got late summer and pulled out the ones that showed debris under the bridges and gave them a pile of those to work on, a pile of reports to work on. We're getting rid of that brush piled up around the bridges. They've been using the mulcher on the wheeled excavator, the Fecon mulcher, to cut brush. and also, and then repairs on 185th Street and Old Highway 34. And fixing up the old rubber tire roller, because it's nice to have a roller. We've had one, but it kept breaking down, tires going bad, things like that. So they've put different tires and maybe wheels on it, and all cleaned out some of the stuff that was inside and made it so we know how much that roller weighs now. So, and then they've did rock hauling, and the morning of the 24th, they also did some snow plowing and salt and sand application. So that's the past 2 weeks.
I got a call from somebody about use in right of ways. Can you tell me about that, or what's the status? I know it was settled, but are there any plans to take any more trees out, I guess?
Well, I was asked by the person I think you're talking about, if we would come get some dead ash trees out of another part of the right of way on a different road, same property owner. And he was gonna come in and somehow or other indicate where those trees were. I think I know where they are, but we're always needing to get trees out of the right of way. We've been doing that, and the best time to get, say, some dead trees out of the right of way would be now to end of March. After that, then you have to worry about whether you might have to worry about whether there's bats roosting in them or not, especially with dead trees that might have loose bark. So
we can talk more about that, but I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Still some question about it, evidently.
always, we need to get trees out of the right of way whenever we can. It's constant. Constant thing to be doing. Like I said, we've done a bunch of clearing, and if they're working in one area, they don't hop, skip, jump all over. They work an area, and then when they get done with that area, they move on to the next one. So that there's not a lot of wasted travel time.
Maybe you can call someone, or you can call you.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
he said he was going to drop into the office and show me where
Okay,
indicate on the map where the trees were, and he hasn't been in. So.
very good. I'll find out. Thanks. Okay, anything else to Scott?
I don't have anything for him other than to say that the guys did do a pretty good job. It was tough that they plowed snow for a while and then had to come off the roads, and then it rained like it did, which made everything really icy. So the following morning, Thursday morning, everything was not as pleasant as it should be, but soon it came around. You guys did a pretty good job at that, I think, for the conditions that were out there. It was tough. Anytime you have to chop the ice to shovel the snow rather than shovel snow then chop ice, it's never really good when it comes out.
Oh, it does. Somebody said, well, it wasn't so bad if you cut the ice on top. The rain soaked down through the snow. So
Yeah.
there was a place, like if you had nobody touched the snow and then it rained on it, you might have a little bit of snow at the bottom, but where it was shoveled and then it rained on what was left,
Yeah,
you don't have to clear the bottom.
yeah, and it became ice. So you guys did a good job.
And then, we had several calls. So I mean, we have new people. We got people that were replacing others, and so it was a learning curve for the new people. as to where some roads are kind of, it almost doesn't look like it's a road, it looks like a driveway or something. So we had to get a few of those picked up. And we ran pretty much out of salt and sand mix.
Mhm.
We have, maybe half or 2/3 of the salt, but got down to where there was hardly any sand and salt mix. And at least on Saturday, that's the way it looked. Oh, and the other thing I was going to add is they weren't just working an 8-hour shift. They worked, like Tuesday, they worked till 5, and then pretty much every other day they start at 5, and I worked till 5. And, so I mean, it was a long haul.
Well, good. Good. It was a tough storm. I'm glad we made it through it.
Okay, consider resolution for longevity wage increase for secondary road employee. Be it resolved by the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors that the following wage rate and classification for secondary road full-time employee shown below be effective January 16th. And base pay is $27.28. And longevity is at 20 cents, so the total would be $27.48.
And longevity was 15 cents.
Mhm. Okay, I would make a motion to approve the pay increase for Kenneth Kronk.
Second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Set meeting times and office hours. And speaking of that, we did pass a resolution probably about a month ago to have our meetings electronic. The 3 of us are here and everybody has masks on, and Scott's here today, but we need to try to do this virtually while we can. We just thought we had a lot of business today of normal routine first of the year stuff. So Darren will probably continue to run the Zoom meeting and we'll be virtual. Abby, I got a question for you. When will the folders be ready to pick up if we're going to do this virtually? Can we get them Fridays?
Typically, yes. Sometimes I'm waiting on documents to, put them in the packets, but for the most part, I have them done Thursday when I do the agenda.
Because I know with 2 of us living in the country, if if I'm going to drive in Monday to get a folder, I'm going to stay here and meet. So that's going to be a factor. And if we can either scan those documents or something that would help the electronic thing. So we'll just have to be flexible for a little bit. See when we can get
Just
that.
let me know how you,
What?
I was just saying, just let me know what you need me to do and I can do it.
Maybe the best thing is when you get the folders ready, just let us know, like send us an email so we know, so that if we can pick them up, we will. And again, this resolution goes through what, February 2nd?
Yes.
So we have another month of this. Thank you. Okay. Yep. Meeting time and office hours. We went to 8:30 to start a couple years ago, because sometimes Chauncey can come or attend from 8:30 to 9 before court starts. So that's, do we stick at 8:30? Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Since we're talking a little bit about you, Chauncey, is that something that you're going to want to still do?
Morning, guys. Sorry, I'm on my phone here today. I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you guys at the beginning of the meetings. as it's been set up, typically that kind of first half hour is often roads crew matters or engineering matters. I'm at the discretion and availability of the board, so I'm basically here to provide whatever you guys need. But considering oftentimes the meetings take an hour and a half, something like that, if there is something pressing, I can probably find a break in the court schedule that's typically pretty full between 9 and 12 to come down and address that with you. But if you guys wanted to change that time, I wouldn't hold it at 8:30 just for my benefit. I'm here to support and provide advice to you guys, so whatever you need.
All right.
Thanks, Chauncey. Well, and I think also if there's something on the agenda that we really want you to speak to, we'll move that up to the front of the agenda so that you'll be able to participate.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're thinking 8:30 still?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking. I'm good with that.
And then
Thanks, guys.
I know before Lee was in here quite a bit. I don't know if we want to set them or just flex them. My opinion and experience is if we're going to have some hours that we're in here, I'd like to just set them on a weekly basis because I know my schedule changes every week, as does yours,
So does mine.
depending on committees. And I know back in the day when they said X will be here like from in the morning, the afternoon, there'd be times people come in and nobody's here. And to me, that's more frustrating. I'd rather
Right.
we publicize our cell phone numbers. If they want us, people can call us. So I don't know what you want to do on that. And Abby, do we need motions on these or we just decide?
I believe they've been done in motions before. I missed, actually, if you could repeat who made the motions, that is helpful since this is Zoom and I can't, I'm not there to see who's making the motions or, whatever.
Okay, we'll do.
I would appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yep, I think, like I said, I think motions have been done in the past, but I don't know that it has to be. Maybe Pat or Chauncey could answer that.
Okay, I would make a motion, Darren Hamilton, to accept the board meeting time on Mondays at 8:30 a.m. and continue with that, and to flex our hours during the week for office times, since we aren't really allowed to be two of us here in the office at the same time.
I second that. This is Susan.
Okay, so motion made by Hamilton and seconded by Dresch to set meeting times at 8:30 and then the flexible office hours. And I know this week we have a lot of budget work sessions, well, today and tomorrow. And I know the rest of the week, if you want to be here any specific time, I know Darren, you're tied up a couple days.
Right, Thursday, Friday, I will be out of town, so I won't be able to be in, so it'll be up to you, Susie.
Are you having?
Yes.
Are you connected by Zoom, either one?
I didn't have a Zoom.
Okay.
It was on
It's on.
there. Actually, yeah, this.
I'll just
Oh, yeah.
participate.
Okay, Susie, Thursday morning. I can come in Wednesday morning because John's going to come in and work on the phones and get those changed.
And again, we'll have a budget meeting 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we'll all three be in here.
Well,
at
that's,
that time,
yeah, work
or at least,
session.
yeah.
Or else we'll do that virtual, whatever we figure out today.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second.
Did you guys vote on that motion?
No, we're going to do that right now. All in
Okay,
favor?
sorry.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay, board and committee assignments. we'll just go through the list. I know there's gonna be some changes this year. This was on our agenda a couple weeks ago to start pre-work on 8th Judicial Correctional Services Board. Hamilton's on that, wants to continue. The 1015 Transit, RPA, Ready Board, and Regional Planning, it's my understanding kind of all interact. And I had talked about doing the Area 15 Regional Planning. Susie, I don't know, I know you've got some preferences coming down later on.
Yeah.
We'll just go down the list.
Would you like to take 1015 Transit?
Down the list. Then.
Right, that's where we're at. We went through 8th Judicial District, then we're going to 1015 Transit next. That was one that was carried by Lee the last several years.
Yeah, I talked to him. He said those kind of all go together. So I suppose that's what, this is the updated tentative list in front of us. And then ambulance, I'd like to do that.
We still haven't decided 1015 Transit yet. Let's start at the beginning and then move down through the list. So let's move a little bit slower if we could, Madam Chairman.
Sure.
So 1015
Can I-
Transit, would you like that, Susie?
I can do that, sure.
Okay, Drish will be 1015 Transit with
Who's
Sandquist.
the first? Sorry,
First
who's the first alternate for 8th
Judicial?
Judicial? Mhm.
Okay, would you like to do that, Susie, be the
Sure.
first alternate?
Sure.
Drish will be the alternate on that.
Okay. Ambulance, Sandquist, RPA, Ready Board, and Regional Planning, Sandquist. We need alternates on that. Who would like to do that? Do you want to do that, Susie?
Sure.
Okay, we'll make the next three ambulance service agency area 15, ICE-T, area 15, Ready Board will all be Drish as alternate one.
Sandquist with Hamilton as alternate. Assessors Conference Board, all of us. And Chamber of Commerce, Sandquist, who wants to be alternate? Okay,
Okay.
Josh. Courthouse Annex, that's Hamilton.
Yep.
Who do we want for an alternate on that?
I don't know, this is working with Dave all the time to make sure that we got all of the maintenance requirements taken care of for all of the facilities that the county has that are not to do with secondary roads. So
we usually don't have an alternate for that.
usually we don't.
Just
It's-
because it's better to have one person for him to work with. And
Um,
courthouse security, same thing.
Right. And that security committee will be meeting tomorrow at 1 in the afternoon. We deal with the security system that's here in the courthouse for all of the court system. So
Okay, and
decategorization board.
yeah, Susie, you want to do that one? She'll say, what are some of these? And that
I'm just gonna have to go through and make sure I know what we want.
with some of your other commitments. Well, the times they meet is here, and yeah, let us know, because
Sure.
we can change these. What we would do is put them back on an agenda and change it at some point. So we'll put Drift there and Sandquist as an alternate. E91 Enhanced Board, Hamilton. I'd like to be the alternate if I'm going to do emergency management. And then early childhood, ECI. You want to do that, Susie? And then Hamilton, first alternate. Emergency Management, Sandquist, with Hamilton as an alternate. CVB, Arts and Convention and Visitors, Sandquist. Typically, we don't have an alternate on some of these that are, if you want to, Susie, you can.
Sure, I can do.
And PETA, I want to keep that one up. Now, I talked to Lee a little bit about CERD, and he suggested that that goes kind of along with some of the emergency management, but I was thinking you had voiced some interest in that.
Yeah, I had,
So,
so
I don't know.
I would like to be the
You want to do that one?
board member on CERD.
Is that okay? Okay. So that'll be Hamilton and CERD.
Who would be the alternate then?
Um,
Trish or yourself?
I can do that because that kind of goes with some of the others. HIPAA is kind of everybody. Susie, are you interested in that at all? It's an internal committee. I can do alternate, but it's basically all of us, but sometimes there's some committee work. We've worked more the last 18 months on our safety committee than HIPAA stuff. So we'll need to do some more on that. Okay. And then historic preservation. Is that anything you're interested in, Susie?
I can do that.
Okay. I've been doing that. I can give you a little overview on that. And I'm happy to continue as an alternate. So where we are is, for whatever reason, in about 2015 or 16, the certification was dropped. So about 6 weeks ago, I held a meeting with a gal, Paula Moore at the state, a consultant that Stan Plum had put me on to as far as how to get us certified, and Joan Saltz, who's the chair. And so basically, she's got some work to do on that, but maybe I can connect you to, and we'll get that going again, and to see where the question's going to be is, do we want to become certified historic? And it's kind of a carrot stick approach, basically, as far as any funding that comes in forms of grants.
Juvenile services, I want to stay with that.
Okay.
Those are quarterly meetings
Do you want to do that, Susie?
as an alternate. Okay.
Local Housing Trust Fund, Regional Housing Trust Fund. And again, this was one that kind of goes with Area 15, but if you're interested in that, or I can do that one, Susie. It meets third Thursday at 5.
Whatever you want.
Let me start with it, and if we change it, we'll change it. But again, that was one that I think Leah thought goes with Area 15 and some of those. Okay, Masden Barnes. I have been doing that the last couple of years. If you have any interest in that, basically it's working with Tony and Leon more as a, okay. And it is going to be on our agenda next week to go out and tour that, weather permitting.
And then you'll move to alternate,
Yeah, I'll take
and then
all
I'll
of it.
take second alternate.
Yeah, mental health. There's the advisory board and then the governance board. So yeah, I've been on the governance board. Would like to continue to do that.
I
Do you
think those are your
do the alternate? Susie? Pathfinders, that's one I'd like to continue on. I'm going to do alternate. Okay, progressive housing, I know Sandy, you want to tell us a little bit about what that involves? I know
I
that's,
don't even know anymore.
okay,
It started like 20 years ago. I was compared it. And it was, there was this relationship between tax credit people, I mean, it's all a little foreign, but tax credit people and getting Jackson Fairfield. And then there's this board, this progressive housing board, of which there's, you know, there's typically originally it was a board of supervisor, myself, and a consumer rep was Rosemary Rock. She passed
right,
away.
but the current members, I think, are Sean, and
I never
you've been
heard,
involved.
Yeah, Sean,
which is Sean
Marty
was
is Sean, or the,
Morrissey.
Sean Morrissey, McCarty that's over at the State Farm Insurance. And then Dick Reed was still on that, but I know Dick wants to get completely divested of it right now.
The guy that was our contact passed away a couple years ago, and that's when it all went, because I've never found another person, but he has looked or found another person as contact.
Is this, I mean, is this something we need to continue to do, or what's our?
I believe that you can, and I would have to go in and get all the details, but off the top of my head, I'd say, yeah, I think that the county is liable if you don't do something.
Okay,
And right now, when you didn't put a county board of supervisor on the committee, it was like, oh my God, stuff. And you took me off, which was, oh my God, and worked for me. I just went, and I thought, you guys take care of it. And then, but we all went away. So it really concerned me, but I figured you knew what you were doing. And
so do you want
it
to,
was way foreign to me, but I can look into details as to why I believe this, and maybe I'll discover I'm wrong.
well,
But
tell us exactly what the purpose is of it.
it's to make sure that the building doesn't deteriorate.
Okay,
In my mind, it's one of the key things. And
So
we
it
used to
sounds-
we used to have a lot of meetings and walk the building and look and point, and that hasn't been done for years. And I've been there for years because I was removed. So, you want me to look into it further?
Yes,
that'd be
please.
great.
Darren, you were on it before the board went away, is that right?
Well, I kind of took over when I came in because all of it was laying on my desk.
I
And
maybe
so-
I work with you on looking into what
Sure.
next steps should be. I can do that.
That'd be great. And then, so Darren, you want to work on that then?
Yeah, I'll do that, move myself up to,
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to get up to speed, and this is the first I've known who was actually on the board. But I know the board typically had been a board of supervisor myself and an attached consumer rep. I'm glad Sean's on the board because I had suggested him. He has a brother that,
right, and he is one person that we need to renew as a, reappoint as a board member because he was filling out a position previously and that position is now up for reappointment, so.
has there been quarterly meetings?
Actually, the meeting was supposed to be the third week in March, and no, there hasn't been any meetings.
I didn't think so. That's,
Okay,
so we'll just try to regroup what this is.
Okay, so REAP next is all of us.
okay. Russ,
That one I would like, because that also deals with some of the nuisance stuff that we're currently in the throes of. And I've got a little better track record with that. If that's all right with everybody else,
yeah, how do you
I'm
feel?
on mute, so.
You know, I am very interested in that, but
I know you
let
are.
Darren.
But I'm wondering, Mike, were you gonna say something? Maybe not. Okay.
No.
Sorry, I didn't need to say anything. I thought I was on mute.
Happens. Okay. So are we saying, now I know,
Why don't we put Susie as alternate on that? And
Doesn't
then
matter.
first alternate,
again-
I guess.
yeah. But we need to look at this too to make sure Susie's gonna get enough of it.
Right.
I haven't figured that yet.
Susie can move to the safety committee.
Safety, yeah, you wanna do that?
Sure.
It's an internal committee, meets monthly. And then either one of us could do an alternate, because if one of us can't go, the other one does. But the first meeting is actually Wednesday at 9. So we'll get to start, and that'll be on Zoom. Chris Estel,
I think I was invited there.
she was on.
She's no longer on.
Okay, well, we'll
Okay.
have to get you a link.
Semco landfill, that I would like to see you take over, Susie, if that's okay. They meet once a month, the third Wednesday of the month. They haven't met lately because everything's been running really smoothly up there. Bill Sloop is the manager of the landfill up there, and I've got all his contact information and put you in contact with him. So, okay.
And then we need an alternate for the safety committee. I can do that, or you want-
Yeah,
I
put
mean, it
you,
can be
put
either
you as
one
the
of us.
first alternate and then me as a second alternate,
Okay.
because again, that's just, anybody can get onto it because it's more of an internal for the county meeting.
Simco landfill Trish. So do you want to be the alternate, Darren,
Yeah,
on Simco?
Yep.
Service agency, county buildings, Hamilton's been doing that, building decisions. This is the one that meets what, a couple times a year typically?
yeah, we meet when there's a need for some sort of improvement at the law center usually. That's what it usually entails. It's whenever it is needed. Tammy Jones is our secretary for that board.
Which board is that?
The
Service agency.
service agency.
And don't we typically have 2 members on that one?
We don't have 2 to go to
You
meetings.
just have one?
We
Okay.
just have an alternate that needs to be with that. So
Okay,
who would like to be as the alternate?
I can do that. Okay, see there, we thought that you might be interested in that.
Yeah, sure.
Southern Iowa Crime Commission,
Right, and I'm into that. It goes along with the 8th Judicial District Correctional Services Board, and it also goes along with the next 3 in line, the Crime Commission, the Area Detention Services, which is the juvenile housing down in Fort Madison, and so
The Montrose.
yeah, that's the one right outside there. Yeah,
do you want to be alternates on those?
yeah, that would be good. Okay, and then the
Spec building.
Southern Iowa Development Conservation Authority. That one I'm going to stay on. And do you want to move to the alternate, Susie?
Susie.
Okay. And then the spec building, I'm still involved with that. We're to the point that our initial debt has all been paid off with it. And now we're moving into the phase that we're trying to push for the sale or lease of the building. And we will be picking up our portion of payments for that, which is $8,400, I believe, annually. And again, that's something I was on when I was with the city council, and was initial partner with the 2080 that was set up through the city, county, and rural cooperative who built that building. So I think I want to stay with that. Susie, I'd bring you up to speed on all that if you were the second alternate.
Okay, substance abuse awareness, that's the ACT group. Are you interested in that one?
Sure.
I'd like to do it, but I think, you know, if you're interested.
If you gotta do it, I can do it.
Well,
It's up to you.
Why don't we have you be on it, and then you be the alternate?
yeah. I just want thorough reports because I really like that. Pat, is there a way I can attend and not say anything at that?
Yeah, I mean, that's not a subcommittee of the county board, and you don't have any policy decisions or, you know, business being conducted at that meeting. So more than one of you can attend that.
Okay, thank you. Are there any of the other committees like that that more than one of us can do?
I'm not going to swear to that off the top of my head just because I'm very familiar with the ACT committee because, you know, I'm the chair. The rest of them, I don't know.
Well, and right, and that's unique. No, that's great. No, because I just really, it's a good way to really learn what's going on and helps us. Right. Okay, workforce development, that's Susie. Drish.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's been a lot of changes in that.
Yeah.
Especially this last 16 months. So I can bring you up to speed on that, but I know that'll be right up your alley.
Well, I think we've got a pretty good cross-section of what we want to do and continue with.
Well, yeah, let's talk about nuisance. It's not technically a committee, but it's always here. So I know both of you are interested in that. And again, we talk about the current ones at the end of the meetings.
Usually,
It's on our agenda.
What Lee was doing is when nuisance are driven by complaints, and someone would complain to a supervisor. Supervisor in the past was the one that had to go out and look at it, determine on their own whether it was a nuisance or not, and then move forward with it from there. Currently, we have the Russ people that do the site visit, take pictures, monitor what's going on so that you can get through the legal process with nuisances. In the past, what has gotten us in trouble is the board has been pretty easygoing with what they consider as progress being made when something's been given to someone to be cleaned up.
Historically, it was pretty subjective.
It's subjective.
So we wanted an objective
Right.
way to do that, which is where Russ came in, and they're either black or white, and they don't know the neighbor and the, you know, so they call it as it meets the criteria.
So all it takes is for somebody to complain, just like to complain about a property.
Correct.
Then you can-
Well, it gets considered for whether it's a nuisance or not. And that determination is made by what's in our nuisance ordinance. And it is looked at by the people from Russ, Bruce. I can't think his last name right now. Anyway, he goes out and says whether or not it really is considered a nuisance under the ordinance.
So he has the criteria.
He has the criteria that he looks
I
at.
just want to be fair.
Right, and that's what it is now.
It is.
Previously, it was really
More subjective.
kind of unfair, is what I would call it previously.
Which is
So,
why we started that process with them to make it so it would be.
mhm. And we currently have some properties that were considered to be, quote, the top 10 list that we're looking at for needing cleanup. We have made 2 on-site cleanups now because of the way the nuisance ordinance is structured. We had taken everybody through the court process, had them fined, and they did not clean up until that point. So, yes, so.
Okay, so, Darren's gonna do nuisance. I mean, we all kind of do it.
We all
It's
kind of
just
do it.
somebody to
It's-
connect with.
Right.
So why don't we let Susie do that?
Okay.
You want to do that? Nuisance. Okay. Okay, well, why don't we just put that as all, it's not
Yeah.
actually on our list here, but all of us are involved with it.
So we kind of.
Yeah.
In our packet, we have a sheet for,
I would like to make a
Yeah.
motion to approve the changes to the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors committee assignments for 2021.
okay, second? Is there any discussion?
Okay, we have a motion from Hamilton, a second from Drish.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. So I'm gonna jump back to this sheet mark 2, and all we need is Susie's email. So for the sake of those of you on the call, Susie's supervisor email will be susie@jeffersoncountyia.com.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what's on your yellow sticky, I think. And it's SUSIE.
That's correct.
So now you've got her email if anybody wants it. We're gonna go on to number 4. Hi, Sandy. Consider resolution regarding yearly authorizations. And in front of us, be it resolved by the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors that the following authorizations are effective for 2021 calendar year. County officials and employees are authorized to attend meetings in schools of instruction at county expense. The chairman of the Board of Supervisors is authorized to execute leases and/or deeds of conveyance for and on behalf of Jefferson County. The county auditor is authorized to exercise the authority granted in and as provided by Chapter 331.506, subsection 2, 2020 Code of Iowa. The county engineer is designated, authorized, and empowered on behalf of the Board of Supervisors to execute the certificate of completion of work and final acceptance thereof in accordance with plans and specifications. Therefore, in connection with all farm-to-market construction projects in Jefferson County. And this is one of the annual, today is the annual to-do list pretty much on our agenda. So this is one of those that we do every year. Is there a motion to approve this resolution? It's been moved by Drish. Is there a second by Hamilton? Any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
And then what we do is you just sign under I. We always need 2 copies, so we've got them started.
Okay.
Oops. Because the auditors get one. So maybe just set them over there and we'll get them tabby afterwards. Okay, moving on. 5, consider approval of county compensation commission board members for 2021. That is under tab 5 in our folders. And are there any changes on this, Abby? Yeah,
I don't believe so.
I have a question about Mr. Lane Bush. Is he still going to be part of the city property owners?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
I am not sure. I was just given this list, and this is from 2020, so if there are any changes, just let us know.
Okay.
I
The reason I asked about Lane is there was health concerns with Lane here, and I'm not entirely sure that Lane is still with us.
I agree with that.
So maybe we need to do some investigation, and if we need someone appointed, we can do that.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else?
Going down through the list, I don't see anybody that jumps out that isn't capable of being actively a
Okay. Do you
participant.
want to look into
in this.
that, Darren?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, hey, you will have to replace Lane.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So I wasn't entirely certain. Thank you, Pat, for letting us know that. So we will have to replace Lane.
Thanks, Pat. Okay. If you have anybody that comes to mind, or you can get the name to the,
Right. And that's
so we can
for
approve
any
it
of
on
the
our
three of us.
agenda.
Yeah, if you know of somebody that may want to be interested in that, and we want a good cross-section of the
So
community.
we can go ahead and approve the list as is with one vacancy in the city property owners. Do we have a motion for that?
I would make the motion.
Okay, Hamilton made the motion. Trish seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay. Official newspaper designations, this is something we do once a year. That's required. And we designate the Southeast Iowa Union, Fairfield Ledger, Fairfield, Iowa, and Clarion Plainsman, Packwood, Iowa. Do we have a motion for this?
I would move that we accept those as the county newspapers of record.
Okay, Hamilton made the motion to approve newspapers, and it was seconded by Trish. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, discuss and consider construction evaluation resolution. This is an annual document that this board traditionally has approved. It's not required to approve, but basically what it means is that if there is any master matrix filed, that it will come to the Board of Supervisors instead of going directly to the DNR. So, whereas Iowa Code Section 459.304 subset 3 sets out procedure if a Board of Supervisors wishes to adopt a construction evaluation resolution relating to the construction of a confinement feeding operation structure, and whereas only counties that have adopted a construction evaluation resolution can submit to the DNR an adopted recommendation to approve or disapprove a construction permit application regarding a proposed confinement feeding operation structure, whereas only counties that have adopted a construction evaluation resolution and submitted an adopted recommendation may contest the DNR's decision regarding a specific application, whereas by adopting a construction evaluation resolution, the Board of Supervisors agrees to evaluate every construction permit application for a proposed confinement feeding operation structure received by the Board of Supervisors between February 1st, 2021 and January 31st, 2022, and submit and adopt the recommendation regarding that application to the DNR. Whereas the Board of Supervisors must conduct an evaluation of every construction permit application using the master matrix created in the Iowa Code Section 459.305, but the board's recommendation to the DNR may be based on the final score on the master matrix or may be based on the reasons other than the final score of the master matrix. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Jefferson County that the Board of Supervisors hereby adopts this construction evaluation resolution pursuant to the Iowa Code section stated previously. So again, this is one that's not required. We haven't had any for since
2 years.
Darren started. This is only, would come before us if it was 2,500 head or above. So it's not every building that goes up.
I think that we should still be a part of this and adopt the master matrix for the county. I think that we still need to be involved with any of those that come through. The last one that came through was at the end of 2018, previous to me coming onto the board in January of 2019. And again, the owner of those types of facilities hire a private engineer to come out and review the site and then make sure that they fall within that score. The problem in the past has always been that they achieve the minimum amount of score that they need in order to build the facility. And once they've done that, then the DNR pretty much has the final say on whether the supervisors approve it or don't. But I think we still need this tool in our toolbox when it comes to these types of buildings.
Well, that way we know what's going on in our county. So is that a motion?
I would make a motion that we approve this resolution.
Okay, we have a motion by Hamilton. Is there a second? Seconded by Drish. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
And then you're the only one that needs to sign this and then go to the auditor for signature.
One copy of this one, Abby? Okay. Discuss and consider reappointment of first and second deputy auditor. That's tab 8. Scott Reniker, duly elected county auditor of Jefferson County, hereby constitute and appoint Shannon Pearson as first deputy auditor from January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2024. And hereby authorize and empower her to do and perform in my name as such first deputy auditor all acts and things that may lawfully be done by her as first deputy auditor. The commission expires December 31st, 2024 unless sooner revoked.
Right, and it was done for December 23rd of 2020 for the previous year, so it won't be up for signature by the chairman until December of 2021 this year. So I would move that we accept that.
Okay, we have a motion by Hamilton. Is there a second? Second by Drish. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the same appointment of this Scott Reniker, duly elected county auditor of Jefferson County, to constitute and appoint Abby Decline as second deputy auditor for a period of January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2024, and hereby authorize and empower her to perform in my name such second deputy auditor all acts and things that may lawfully be done by her as such second deputy auditor. This commission expires December 31st, 2024. So it's the same thing, only with Abby's
Right.
designation. So do we have a motion?
I will move.
Okay, we have a motion by Hamilton, a second by Drish. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do we have any public comment? Oh, committee reports, excuse me.
I had no committees meet since our last board meeting, so I have nothing to report on.
I've had some, but one I'll mention was last Monday. In the Mental Health Governance Board, we invited via Zoom all of the legislators in the area, the 8 counties that interacts, to attend, just to have an understanding. We kept it at an hour long, just so they really understand some of the challenges that the Mental Health Governance Board has, and that also how important it is for them to address the funding this year, because they were not able to address it last year with their abbreviated legislative session. I think it was very well received, and if anybody wants a copy of that, it was recorded. And it's, if you have any interest in what's going on in mental health and the challenges, it's pretty short. It's an hour long. We specifically wanted it to be a good use of everyone's time, and we were thankful that they could attend, so it went quite well. And welcome, Susie.
Yes.
Okay, any public comments?
I would like to make one. There's been some discussion recently about weed commissioner, and I've had a short discussion with the people from Russ, and Mr. Dimmitt had the discussion with them prior to him moving off the board, and we will negotiate to see what a contract would cost in order to do that. Currently, we budget $3,000 annually for weed commissioner, but the current person that's in that role, Dan Miller, does not wish to do that any longer. You have to have a certification for weed spraying. It also makes you aware of what weeds are noxious and which ones aren't, and then has to follow up if there is a complaint about weeds either outside of the right-of-way or in the ditches. The ones that are in the ditches are taken care of in-house by our people. They're either mowed or sprayed, because we have applicator licenses for 4 individuals right now on the secondary road department. Mostly they are complaint driven. If a neighbor complains that there's Canadian thistles growing out in somebody's CRP ground, which shouldn't be growing out there, then they complain to the weed commissioner. The weed commissioner then arranges to go out, look at them, deem it such, and then take care of it from them by sending them a form letter telling them what they need to do to rectify the situation. Gives them a time frame to do that. If they haven't done that, we go out on a follow-up to see whether or not they've done it. If they haven't, then that weed commissioner would make arrangements with a private contractor to go out and actually spray or mow, whichever is needed in this case. So it's a fairly simple process. Mostly it involves making sure that the form letter is filled out properly and sent to the property owner that was being complained upon. And that usually rectifies what's going on. It's a rare occasion when you have to actually arrange for a private contractor to go out and actually do that off of the right of way. The secondary roads department can't do that, because if they went out off of the right of way to spray or mow, then they would be using secondary road equipment, which is under road use tax fund money. And the state of Iowa this past January stated that road use tax funds can only be used within the right of way. So we won't be doing any of the mowing, cutting, or spraying on private property by our forces because of that. So There was talk that Henry County and a couple other counties surrounding us were having the secondary road crews do that, but they no longer do that because of that directive brought down by the DOT last January. So I think if we want to move it to Russ, then we need to negotiate with them what their price will be. I know that Mr. Dimmitt said that there was a specific number they were looking at, which was not a lot higher than what we currently budget for that. I think it was like $500 more. So I'll talk to them again, and Bruce Hudson, and see what their feeling is on it, and see if they're still willing to go ahead and do that. So, all right.
Any other public comments? Motion to allow claims and approve reports. Dresch made the motion, second.
Second by Sandquist.
Second by Sandquist. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, any nuisance property update?
The only thing is we have completed the cleanups both in Abingdon and Lynby. The property in Abingdon, there was a few minor hiccups from the property owner and complaints from them about it, but everything has been rectified and it's been completely cleaned up. The property in Lynby, the property owner came out and said, "This is great. I'm glad somebody's finally cleaning it up."
And I got an email from Denise Hall who said, thank everybody involved. So thank
Yes.
you in the county attorney's office. Thank you to Lee Dimmitt, Bruce, Darren, everybody at the board for getting Lynby cleaned up.
Right.
And she wanted to make sure it was shared with everybody.
And we're currently looking at a property that's just to the west of Fairfield here now, and trying to get it cleaned up. There's some issues with ownership and what's going to happen with that property coming up into the near future. And so there's really been no active movement to having the people go out and clean that up. It was the number 3 on our cleanup hit list. That we had.
Can you share that list with me?
Yes, we can get that out to you here.
And I think it was posted.
Yeah, it was. It was published and posted out here in our bulletin board.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn? Moved by
Second.
Dresch, second by Hamilton, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone that joined us by Zoom this morning. Have a great day.